Hey y'all, today I would like to show you how to sew a double pamphlet. And what a double pamphlet is it is a pamphlet book that has two signatures sewn into it. As you can see here, this is one signature, this is the second signature, and I have sewn them together in the cover. And so I want to show you that process. What I have here, I've got my signatures all ready to go. And all this is it's pieces of paper folded in half and nested together. And that is what we call a signature. It's individual sheets nested together. This is a signature. So I've got signature 1, signature 2. This is my cover that I will be using for my book today. I've got a bone folder, a pencil, a paper piercer, waxed linen, a thimble just in case if I need help sewing. I've got a tapestry needle, ruler, scissors. Okay, so let me just kind of spread my tools out here to, let me put them up here. I like them up this way. Okay, so how this begins is I usually start with the paper, which is called the text block. Whatever I want, this determines the size, is the inside paper. So once I have a size of my paper, then I know how big to cut the cover. So for double pamphlets, you cut the cover the height of the book. So in this case, here is my height. So my cover covers the signatures perfectly. Okay. So when you're doing a double pamphlet, you obviously want the paper to be bigger than your book, because let me get my sample again. We have this middle piece. This construction is what holds this book together, is this middle fold right here. So you just want to make sure your paper doesn't have to be this long. This is like excessively long. And that is because for me, I like to fold in the extra sides, because sometimes I like to sew another piece of, not another piece, but I like to sew a signature into the side cover. I'm not going to show you that today, but you get the idea if you want to make that. What I really want to show you today is just how to sew the two inside. So if you're wanting to take the extra and fold it over, then you would want the long piece. All of this will make sense right now. So I've got my cover, and what I need to do is fold it in half with the decorative side touching, fold the decorative side into each other. So I'm just lining up as best I can. My paper is not cut perfectly because I hand cut it. Hand cut things are never perfect, which is fine. I like it that way. And we're just folding it in half. Now, once I have it in half, then I'm going to take one of my signatures and I'm going to lay it here. And what I'm trying to decide is, where does this need to fold? So if I know that I want to fold the front cover over, I am going to use this as my judge as to how big this is going to be. So I know I want this to fold over a little more to where it almost covers. So I am going to make this spine a little smaller, and I like this right here. Okay, so like this is my cover. All right, So now I am going to commit to this marking as this is going to be my spine where I poke the holes and sew this book together. So I am just folding this over, making sure that it's pretty straight. I am now, before I really commit to it, I want to make sure that everything lines up. So I'm opening up and I'm folding this over to match up at this end, and then I'm folding this down. So what I have done is I basically just made a W. Well, a W. Okay. This is what I have done. I've just done a little, put a little fold into it. Now that I know that that is good and is going to work, I'm going to commit by hitting it with the bone folder. Okay. So now I've got the spaces where the two signatures are going to fit, right? They're going to fit in here. And I'm going to sew them together through this folded spine that I just created, okay? So I've got to poke holes into my cover, into the signatures, into the cover. So I'm finding the center of my signature. So my signature is 8.5 inches tall. And I'm finding the middle, which is a 4 1/4, and I'm making a pencil mark at 4 1/4. Now I am going to come in, I could come in an inch. You could do like 3/4 of an inch to an inch. I am going to do, I'm going to go an inch on this size. 1 inch in from each end. All right, so now this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and use it as my template. Now you need paper piercer. I'm poking through all of the pages at the same time. Do mind your fingers. It goes, the paper piercer will go through, so I'm just putting the paper piercer on the marks that I made, and it's punching through very easy. I'm gonna set it down. I'm taking the middle one out, and I'm gonna use it as my template to mark the other side. So what is important is placement. So I wanna make sure that this hole remains at the top, right? So I am going to place this in here, remembering that this is going to be, I'm just calling it my top. Now I'm poking through all of the pages at the same time. I keep checking to make sure that they're all aligned in with one another. I know this is my top. I'm going to lay that down, taking this out, putting it back into the other side. Okay, so my signatures are marked. Now I've got to mark, well, I don't really have to mark this because technically, well, you will see. What I'm going to do, instead of marking it, I'm just going to go ahead and poke the holes through. So my cover is really just a smidge wider than my signatures. I like it that way. I like the feel of that. So I am just centering my signature in the cover and just poking through. This goes through super, super easy, like so. Okay. I'm going to open this back up, set my signature back in. So now I'm ready to cut my waxed linen, And what you want to do is you want to measure 3 lengths of your book, 3 plus, 3 to 4. So I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3 plus some lengths of the book. When you're done with your paper piercer, so I keep a cork on my paper piercer to protect me from getting poked by it if it rolls off the table, because that has happened numerous times. And it also just kind of helps it stay in place. So I'm taking my thread, threading it through my tapestry needle. Now you only have to pull it through like 2 inches. I call this the tail. This is the working thread. This is the tail. You only need a 2-inch tail. You do not like pull it all the way through and tie it at the end. We want this end free and loose, right? So for this 3-hole stitch, I start in the middle from inside out, and I go through the first signature. This is like the back signature. Then I go through the center hole in my cover. Then I go through the center hole of the other signature, and I pull the thread through it all. Okay. Now, just picking it up, putting everybody back together. Ooh, sorry for the fumble. And I'm pulling it through to where I have a tail that is about the width of, 1 page, okay? So once you are here, you're just going to pick, doesn't matter if it's the top hole or the bottom hole, you're picking an end and you're going through all of the pieces again. And if you want to, usually when I'm at this point, I pull through. Don't let your middle come out. You saw how it got discombobulated there. Here we go. Pull through, lining these up, going through the signature. So both signatures and the cover I have gone through. And legit, I just have to wiggle. Sometimes if it won't come through, you can just kind of pop each page one at a time. There we are. Okay. Now I'm picking everything up, aligning it all again. I'm pulling this. All right, so here's where I am. I'm on the side where I started. Now I'm going to cross all the way over, skipping the middle hole, going into the last hole that is empty. And I'm poking through both signatures, the cover. It gets tough to come through sometimes. So if it gets tough, just remember you can pull. So I'm pulling and just kind of popping each page one at a time. There we are. Sometimes you just gotta, right, I'm just gonna give this some muscle. There we are. Okay. So here's where we are. I'm putting everything back together. I'm pulling on this original tail. I'm gonna pull on this side. I'm pulling this one. I'm just tightening all the sides. Okay. Now I've got to go through this center hole to complete the bind. What is important about this is you don't want the needle, which is why I use tapestry needles because they're blunt. You don't want the needle to split through the yarn the thread, sorry, that's already through the hole. So you just need to take this slow and be mindful and just kind of watch to make sure that you're not punching through that thread. I know you can't really see what I'm doing right here, but just know that I am, and if you have to, just do this. You can pull through the parts, and this one's always a little tough to get through. Now I've got to go through the last signature, and I'm just doing it on its own to make sure that I did not punch through that thread. Okay, so now I'm all the way, I'm fully bound. This is the side where I've got my tails. So on the non-tail side, I am going to pull, I'm tightening the tail side by pulling these inward, and what I'm doing is I'm straightening that thread that's going all the way across the other side. I'm flipping, and now I can pull these two, which ends up tightening the whole thing. I am checking this side before I commit to tying off to make sure that it is taut, and it is. And you just do a box knot. So 1 and then 2. And because the linen is waxed, the knot holds because it's coated in wax. So the wax kind of, adheres to itself. All right. So here we are. I am going to close my book, just kind of pressing all the pieces together. Here we go. We are almost done. This is so easy. It's so magical. These make such good gifts. They make fabulous sketchbooks. Okay, so here we are. We've got, these pieces are obviously too long, right? So now's the time where I am going to fold them in. And what you want to do, you don't want to fold it in to where it touches the signature. You want to leave a little space so that when the book is fully closed, I mean, your signature, your inside pages aren't going to pop out. So what I am doing is I am just checking, I'm looking at this edge right here at that space and making sure, which I can fold this almost all the way in, and I still have space. Okay. And once I have it where I want it, I'm going to commit to that fold, right? Committing to the fold. Flipping this over. Look, it's perfect. I've got extra hanging off. Now, we want these two sides to match. So this is how I go about doing it. I know, this is lots of flips and turns. Okay, so I want this side to line up with this side, so I'm using this side as my guide to fold this side. And so what I'm doing is I'm just creasing it up, okay? I hope you're following this. I know it seems kind of fumbly bumbly, but it's not. Once you get into doing it, and look, watch this video, then sit down with your supplies, pause, rewind, to get to really grasp. All right, before I fully commit, I am going to check. I'm just checking, and it looks good. And so I'm lining up these edges, and then I'm gonna hit it with the bone folder. La! There you have it. You have a double pamphlet. So this is how the book opens. It's really fabulous. You've got all these pages in here. I think what I use is cardstock. And this cardstock in particular is so fabulous for ink, pencil, marker. None of it bleeds through. This is 110-pound paper, cardstock, 110-pound cardstock. I do how many sheets? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it ends up being like a 20-page book, which is really great. This size book is awesome for travel. It fits in a purse, pocket, backpack, so easy. And it really does make a great gift for others, for your writers, artists, whoever likes to work in journals. I was going to tell you one more thing. Oh my goodness, it escaped my brain. Oh, okay. So you see how the book doesn't want to stay closed, but this one does, right? This one lays completely flat. What you do once you're done is you have to weight the book. So I have bricks. I have bricks that I have covered with paper. This is just like a house brick. It's 5 pounds. And I let my books sit under the brick. If you do not have paper covered bricks hanging around your house, which most people do not have, use a stack of heavy books and let the books sit under weight. Whether it's bricks, book, anything that you've got that is heavy, that will press it down for 24 hours. In 24 hours, you should be able to remove this and your book should lay completely flat, same as this one, okay? So I hope this has, and look, you can make this book small, you can make it bigger. You can take a, what is it, like 11 by 14 sheet of paper, fold that in half, and you'll have like a big book. You can take 11 by 14 paper, this is 8.5 by 11, and cut it in half and make a smaller size. You can hand cut watercolor paper, drawing paper to any size you want, fold that in half and sew it together. So this is just, they're great. They're great. They're great little books to make. So I hope this has inspired you. I hope it's given you ideas, maybe sparked your handmade holiday gift giving. These make great Christmas presents, birthday presents, whatever. Just really great gifts. So happy creating, y'all.